Hey, my name is Bailey Weiser. I am the owner of Hello Jude Photography, a North Georgia newborn and family photography studio, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the 5 things that I do to help fussy newborns during their newborn session. Maybe they are just not enjoying being swaddled, or you just can't quite get them to settle and be comforted when you're trying to pose them. These 5 things are the steps that I take when I'm trying to ensure that every baby is kept safe and is comfortable, and we can get those images that the parents are wanting. So let's dive in. The first S is swaddle. Now, I know that not every single newborn loves being swaddled, but this is something that you can do, whether it's swaddling them in a blanket or just covering them up so that they're warm, or holding them close to you so that they feel comforted. Make sure that whichever one of those approaches you take, you're keeping baby safe, you're not covering their face, and if they are resisting it, don't try and force something that's not going to happen naturally. The second S is side. Now, say that you have a baby laying on their back and they are really fussy. One thing you can do is kind of roll them on their side a little bit, or pick them up and put them on their side. For some reason, just changing their position might help them in feeling comforted. Along those lines, the next S is sway. So one thing that I do a lot during newborn sessions is after I've got that baby swaddled and rolled on their side, what I'll do is I'll pick them up and I'll put them still on their side so their face is facing out and I'm holding on to them, and I'll just sway them back and forth. You'll see a lot of moms, even when they're not holding their baby, just naturally sway. It's something that I do all the time, but just having that swaying motion is really comforting to babies, and it might help them fall asleep. The next S is sound. So whether you put on a white noise machine or you have some sort of nature sounds or lullabies or something like that playing in your session or in your nursery, that's something that's going to help comfort baby. The last S is suck. So whether it is on a pacifier or on a bottle, or maybe they need to nurse, or on the knuckle of their finger, having something to suck on to stimulate them is going to help them feel comforted and at ease, and might help them fall asleep. So when you're photographing newborns, the 5 S's are swaddle, side, sway, sounds, and suck. If you follow those 5 things, anytime that you have a fussy newborn, you're a lot more likely to find a way to comfort them. Not all of these ways work for every single baby, but just know that if you're trying to figure out what you can do to comfort a baby that is just inconsolable, start with these 5 S's, and I guarantee you'll get a little bit more comfort than you were having originally. Now, when it comes to comforting toddlers during sessions, that's a whole other story. So when it comes to toddlers in sessions, what you're going to want to do is create an environment that is fun and relaxing for them. You don't want them to be overstimulated. The first thing that I notice all the time with parents when they are trying to get the attention of their toddler is they've got music and lights and sounds, and it can be very overwhelming. Especially if your toddler is one that's a little bit more reserved and they're in this brand new environment, they don't quite know how to respond. So if you're noticing some of the cues from your toddler that they are just overwhelmed, maybe tone it down a little bit. Maybe instead of playing the Frozen soundtrack, you put on some lullabies or even some white noise. That can be a little bit more comforting. Sounds of waves, sounds of nature, things like that, if you feel like you need to have some sound going on in the session. Maybe instead of jumping up and down and dancing and all of those things, you just take a moment to have a little snuggle session. And so maybe have them pick whichever parent they want and have them put them in their lap and just kind of let them be held for a few minutes and snuggle and sway, and have them feel comforted in that way. A lot of times when toddlers are feeling overstimulated, the one thing they want to do is be held by their parents, and that doesn't mean your photos have to stop. Some of those photos are my absolute favorite. And you can guide parents to still have these moments while they're snuggling their toddler. Maybe encourage them to do Eskimo kisses, or to rest foreheads, or to just put their hands in certain places so that you can still continue to capture images. that are composed beautifully, but also tell the story of what's actually going on behind the scenes with their toddler. Another thing you can think about when it comes to photographing toddlers, if they are fussy, is their bellies. They might be hungry, they might be thirsty, they might have a need that you can meet. And so whether that's offering a snack or encouraging parents to make sure that their child is fed before they arrive to their session, that's something that's going to ensure that they are happy. Same with parents. Dads especially, make sure that dads are getting a meal before they arrive to their session. Nothing ends a session quicker than a hangry dad. Something else you can think about is their clothing. Are they wearing something that's itchy or uncomfortable? If you're noticing them, tug at their collar or adjust their waistband on their pants, maybe something is uncomfortable to them and they can't quite tell you what it is. Maybe they need their diaper changed. That's another big sign that something is very easily fixable. Stop the session, take a moment for a diaper change, resituate, and recompose. Maybe they're just overwhelmed by being forced to look at the camera and smile. Something that you can do is try and encourage them to sit and play with something. So maybe they have a favorite stuffed animal or a book, or maybe you have toys available in the studio. Have them sit down and find something to play with. It's going to encourage them to feel relaxed and comforted, and then you'll be more likely to get the photos out of them that you're expecting and their parents are expecting. Another thing you can do, this is always something that I do no matter what the session, whether the toddler is fussy or not, but is encourage them to play with their parents. Some of these images are my absolute favorite. They come super naturally, and it's ensuring that your toddler is happy as well because they're getting the attention that they need from their parents. I hope this video was helpful. I know it's inevitable that you're going to run into sessions where you either have fussy toddlers or fussy newborns, and having these tools in your tool belt to know what to do and advice on steps that you can take and approaches you can take to ensure that they're comforted and happy are going to make your images so much better and your sessions run a lot smoother. Feel free to comment below if you have anything that you can think of to add to this list for other photographers to learn from. Maybe some things that have worked from you, some things that haven't worked from you. Make sure you click that subscribe button and like this video, and we will see you next week. Thanks so much.